A lot of guys find themselves in situations where they want to be able to change the mind of the woman to get her to see him differently. So what are these situations? Maybe a guy is in the friend zone with a girl. Maybe a guy just got broken up with from a girl. Maybe he's been talking to a girl for a while and he said something and it completely turned her off. Basically any situation where he wants to change her mind about him because she's not attracted, right? So again, it can be a friend zone situation or any situation that unattracted to her. So what do we need to do to change her mind? How do we make this happen? Well, first let me tell you a story. I remember there was this one girl in college. This girl, super cute. And I landed in the friend zone with her because at this point in my life, I had no idea what it took to get a girl attracted to me. I was just trying to talk to her and be her friend and talk about school and school stuff. We had the same major, thinking that would be my best shot, even though even deep down inside, I knew nothing was going to happen. But that's all I ever knew. And of course, what happened? Friend zone, right? So when we'd see each other, big hug, hey friend, how's it going? Yada, yada. And then all of a sudden, about, what is it? I don't know, 7, 8 years later, I run into her again. So at this point, I know how attraction works. I understand what gets a woman attracted, interested, engaged. I know how to make more tension. I know how to pull those little attraction triggers. So by this time, I knew what I was doing. So what ended up happening was we were messaging on Facebook, and I invite her to hang out, come over, hey, let's catch up. And she comes over, and within about a couple of hours, me and her are hooking up, and it's completely different than it was 7, 8 years previous. What changed? Well, of course, we know it changed. She looked at me in a different way because at this point, I knew how to build attraction. So why did this work so well? Not just because I could build attraction, but it's one other factor that was in my favor. That factor is time. One of the things that guys don't really understand about how attraction works, how the female brain is working, is about how they experience attraction. So when a woman is experiencing attraction, there's a lot of data that she's taking in. She's taking in what you look like, how you act around others, and your status. So it's all these different things that are going to make her either attracted or unattracted, or maybe just neutral on you and put you in the friend zone. So all this data is coming in. And so because of all the data that she needs to sift through, she needs to figure out, is this someone that I want to be with, sleep with, and become attracted to? This time is crucial for her because if we look at evolutionary psychology, women have more risk when it comes to being with a man. They can get pregnant. That's one of the biggest risks. So she has to be a little bit pickier or a little bit choosier in who she can be with. And the way that she's going to be able to do this is by spending more time with this person. So time is a really, really big factor here. So it's not only the time that she's spending on the micro level, like when she first meets someone, but it's on the macro level too. I'll get to that in just a second. So again, on the micro level, it's like when she first meets you, most women are not going to sleep with you right away. When I say right away, I mean within like a minute, right? It's like a guy is going to know whether or not he wants to sleep with a woman. It probably takes him 30 seconds. It might take him 10 seconds. It's quick. A woman, it's going to take, well, at least an hour, at the very least, probably a little bit more for many reasons, right? She doesn't want to be slut shamed. She doesn't want to be shamed by society, but also she risks getting pregnant. So she needs more data. It takes more time. Think about it this way. Men are like a light switch. Women are like a dial. So that means it takes longer for her to then go, okay, I am attracted to this guy. Okay, yes, I'll sleep with this guy. Okay, so this is on the micro level. So where does this macro come into play, and how does this all tie into what we're talking about her changing her mind about you? Well, when a woman puts you in the friend zone or becomes unattracted to you, what ends up happening is she now views you in a certain way. And just like it's a dial for her to take the time to become attracted to you, it's the same dial that's going to have to reverse. So she needs that time to go from, I don't like this guy, I'm not attracted to him, he doesn't have the attractive behavior, he screwed something up, he's in the friend zone, whatever situation it may be. it takes time, and in this case, usually a lot more time to go, okay, I'm attracted to this guy again. Why? Because now you're maneuvering from a place in the negative, usually, where she's like unattracted or friend zoned. So you got to come all the way from that to then she likes you. So this takes time. So remember the story that I told you just a minute ago? What happened there? Well, a lot of time went by. In this case, a lot of time, 7 to 8 years went by. So in that time, it was so long that I was practically a new person to her. Yeah, I was that same guy she knew from college, but she doesn't really remember that. She probably remembered I was like this nice guy who she remembers that she was friends with several years ago, but there's not much memory there. So I had time on my side to then be a whole new type of personality, a guy who can trigger attraction and not just be in the friend zone. So do you need 7 to 8 years? No, you don't need that, but you do need to work with the principle of time. So if you are in any of these situations I've listed, you're trying to get out of the friend zone. You are trying to get a girl back, maybe get your ex back. You are trying to just show a new side of you to a woman to get her to feel something for you at all. She can't be with you under the same circumstances that she was before with the same guy who she was with. So in any of the cases I listed, it's going to take at least a few months. Why? Same reason why you might do no contact with an ex. You know that advice? And if you don't, I'll tell you right now, you break up with someone, you do no contact. What's the reason for that? Well, the no contact rule is so you don't get sucked in again and start to like her again. So you create this distance so the memories of her and the relationship you had and who she was start to fade, because that's what happens as time goes on. Our memories start to fade a little bit. So we need to have her memories fade of you, of who you once were, of who or of what the interactions were when you guys were together. So that's why I tell guys, if you want to get out of the friend zone, if you want to have her change her mind about you, if you want to try to get your ex back, it's not going to happen instantaneously. It's going to take at least 3 to 6 months. So what do you do in those 3 to 6 months? You don't have much, if at all, contact with her. The less contact, the better. Because with that less contact, memories start to fade. She doesn't think about you as much, and she starts to kind of forget who you once were. So now you can enter back into the interaction and you can show her this, let's say, new and improved or different version of who you once were. And then you can start to use the principles of attraction and how to build tension and how to use my attraction formula, TED, that I talk about a lot, to get her interested in you. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. Secretly, I hope that with some of that time, you start to move on and find other women. I never, ever like to give the advice, especially to the coaching clients who come to us, to ever sit there and strategize too much about the perfect way and perfect vision that they have to get a girl back. If it so happens, great. If there's a moment where you can get out of the friend zone, you run into that girl 3 to 6 months later, great. But ideally, you're dating other women in the meantime. And in fact, if you are, that is going to make you even more attractive because you're going to have more experience with women and then truly understand what it means to be able to attract a woman. So really, in essence, you don't have a choice. If you want a chance at getting someone back or changing her mind about you, during that time of separation, you have to be talking to women to practice the art of attraction. And that's ultimately how you're going to get her to change her mind about you.